Andri Snær Magnusson.
Thank you, Ananda, for the greatly inspiring lecture. I can tell you that national growth happiness went up to 7.5% when we heard you were coming to Iceland. I hope you come every year to sustain at least this percent. I had 100 questions, and I'm still kind of trying to choose. I didn't know you were going to talk about the bauxite and aluminum industry, but and I followed this battle that you were talking about in the Nýjamíri hills that were going to be destructed. But because aluminum or bauxite is non-renewable, it's a finite source. That means the production machine is gnawing itself and will eventually knock on these doors again, like in the Nýjamíri hills. We are addicted in Iceland to the extraction of about 2 million tons a year of this vital material. Do you think this gives us greater responsibility because now we are a part of this chain? How can we be more aware of what is happening, and will you let us know when they knock on the door in the Nýjamíri hills next time? But maybe tell us the situation there, because there the locals seem to be fighting it, while in Iceland the locals seem to be very keen on these big factories.
Well, I think one idea could be to bring the locals who own aluminium smelters here to come visit Nýjamíri. But of course, they are already knocking on the door. They're trying to file a case to overturn the ruling that stopped the mining. But I will definitely keep you informed, and we need to definitely move beyond this very predatory production system.
I'm going to give you the opportunity of another question. I know you have 100 on the list. I saw you writing them, so I'm giving you another opportunity.
Well, the other question was, we are not 70% water, we are 90% oil. If you look at the graph of oil production in the last century and population of mankind, it seems like it goes together. It seems like the oil creates us, it drives the fish ashore, it creates this huge biomass that we are managed to fish and log and harvest. Can you see that we can sustain 6 billion human beings with this? We're at the end of oil, we're at peak oil. Some people think that, okay, that means population will go back down again. Do you see that we can sustain this population of mankind and even more people with these organic methods that you have been promoting?
I think it's the only way to sustain humanity without destroying the planet. If you have limitation of land, it makes sense to grow more on less land. And it's falsely said that industrial agriculture intensifies land use. It extensifies land use, otherwise why would they be invading the Amazon forest? If it was doing so well, why would they be grabbing land in Africa? It's chemical intensive, it's not land intensive. Biodiverse systems grow more food per unit acre. And my favorite is something that grows across the world. Native Americans do it, we do it. Corn, beans, pumpkins. The Native Americans call it the Three Sisters. Now, on an acre of land, if you're growing corn and bean and pumpkin, overall you're getting more food and more biomass. If you're only growing a monoculture of corn, no matter how productive it be and how much fossil fuel you pumped into it, it's less than the Three Sisters. And if you grow only beans, again, it's less than the Three Sisters. So we need to intensify biologically and we need to intensify ecologically. We need to intensify the ecological processes going on in the soil. In effect, chemical agriculture kills those processes. Industrial agriculture uses more water. If you're running out of water, you don't have an agriculture that uses more water. And at a time of peak oil, as you mentioned, you don't depend on an agriculture that's so dependent on oil that we could say we are eating oil. Because so much of what's going into the food, as you mentioned, is dependent on oil. Peak oil means we better phase out. And again, Iceland is so well placed with energy systems. And it would be sad to fritter it away on aluminium.